Date,
with people,
affirm,
that is a
the
red
real.
flag for me.
Our live podcast talking about today's relationships and its effects on us all.
Got something to say about it.
Please welcome our hosts, Kia McLean, the poet, and Shamika, the dog therapist. Let's get real.
What up, everybody? We are live from our home on Friendsgiving evening. So I want to talk to y'all about real quick why we decided to do this, because we have had live events since we started this podcast. A lot of people don't know that this podcast, we just celebrated 4 years. And so y'all can clap it up for that. Marcus and I started this podcast literally within 6 months of us dating. We didn't really talk about we knew, but we knew. So we started this podcast together and we're married last October. Just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. Woo, woo! I still like him. He still like me. Most days. So that's where we are with that. The podcast was really kind of birthed out of us having conversations about what was put out on social media about relationships. It was a lot of negative stuff. It was a lot of tearing down. It was a lot of men against women, women against men. And at the end of the day, what we felt was that you get out of relationships what you put in. Right? Yeah. And sometimes we don't hold ourselves accountable for getting in spanking ass relationships. All right? And we too old to still be getting in spanking ass relationships. So this is also called Data from the Real. So remember, we keep it real over here. So I'm saying that, we really do pay attention to a lot of the things that people are saying out here about relationships. Ain't no good men. Ain't no good women. I know too many good women and I know too many good men. That's a false narrative, and we go with that, and we carry that really negative connotation, and it really kind of feeds people to say things that really isn't true. Want to give a big shout out to our co-host Don over here, who is working as producer for us today. And my cousin who's online, Shamika, the dog therapist. We appreciate you all for hanging in there with us. When Marcus and I started this podcast, it was just me and him. And I said, you know what, babe, we should do co-host. Let's see what that looks like. And I knew that him and Don clicked. And when I saw them on live together, I was like, this is it right here. And me and Shamika together, we really kind of focus on the healing aspect and the therapy side. And they talk from the men's side, and a lot of what they've done in the last 6 months has focused a lot on healing, if you guys have been watching the podcast. So we appreciate all the support from you guys. Want to also give a shout out to Diggs. He's in the audience here live. He did what you guys saw come up when the podcast started. He did that for us. And I'm going to tell y'all why it's even more dope is because he did it. We didn't even ask him to do it. He did it and sent it to us and was like, hey, this for y'all, because I support the podcast and I want to see y'all win. So big love, Diggs. We appreciate you. We love you. Diggs also was the DJ for our wedding. Yeah. We want to thank everybody that showed up today, that took time out of their Saturday afternoon to show up and support us live. Once we finish, we will be going outside in the backyard to eat dinner.
And drink.
And drink. And so I want to share something with you all, and then I'll share this with you all individually because I want you guys to leave with this card. So then we'll get right into the conversation. So tonight's menu is a simple menu, but it's an intentional menu. Catfish, spaghetti, salad, and garlic bread. Now, if you're from certain parts of the country, that combination might make perfect sense. But for others, it's a full-blown debate. Fish and spaghetti? Those are two separate meals. That's exactly why we chose it. See, in relationships and in life, we're taught what goes together and what doesn't. By our families, our regions, our culture, and even by social media. We absorb those opinions, traditions, and judgments without asking if they actually fit us. But the history of this meal tells another story. It was born in Mississippi and Louisiana and moved its way up to the Midwest, adapting, evolving, and finding new homes just like love does. Marcus, my boo, him from Alabama, and I'm from the Lou. Two different upbringings, two different rhythms, but somehow, like fish and spaghetti, we just fit. People might say we don't match, don't align, or don't make sense on paper, but our love, our flow, and our faith in each other prove what's unconventional can be unstoppable. So tonight, as you eat and engage in the real, the recipe, and the relationship, we want to challenge you to think about this. What are you willing to do, even if it doesn't align with society's expectations, to create what you truly deserve? The best pairings are the ones no one see coming. And when seasoned right, they just work, baby. They just work.
Right on.
Yeah. So, so what you guys will see us preparing is the salad because we ain't got time to be preparing everything on camera. And we'll have conversation as we do that because tonight isn't about perfection. It's about presence. We're keeping it real, flavorful, and connected. All right, babe.
Talk to me. What you got?
So I just talked about the story of why we chose the menu that we have tonight.
Okay.
Let's talk about how we balance our own individual flavors.
All right. So, flavor. I'm sweet, you spice. Plain and simple. You got more spice, I got more sweet. You know, you lack the kick. Excuse me, I lack the kick that makes a dish perfect. Where sometimes you need like a little sweet element to take it to another level, and that's kind of what we are. So I gotta turn to you to say this stuff. All right. Basically, when we're together, I shouldn't be with you on paper. Through your emotional intelligence, your logical thinking, and on all that, which is contradiction to my, as you like saying, my lackadaisical, my fairyland thoughts. But at the same time, like you wouldn't think that like fish and spaghetti in certain areas would go together. Because in my mind, like fish and fries work better.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put it on the plate, it's good. It works. Then it becomes it spreads. So when you have that spice and you bring it to me, we start a trend. Like fish and spaghetti is a trend
Mm-hmm.
that's being passed down from generation to generation. Well, the trend is positivity. So, I can look at this audience here right now, and I see a lot of positive things in this room. There's not too many negatives I can say when I look in here. I could probably say one. You know what that one is? Y'all ain't drinking enough. That's it. That's it. But everybody, yeah. But just like us, everybody is around us. We're attracted to each other because it's the positive, and that's what Data Friendly Real was about. It was about the positive. Now I'm gonna talk to them. I gotta get my game on. It's about the positive, and finding somebody to balance you. It not it don't have to be the sweet and the spice. It could be sweet and sweet. It's all about what you're not, what you don't have in your life at that moment that elevates us. I could go on and on a lot about my wife. And the other day, I went to a doctor's appointment. True story. This was Thursday, I think it was. And I'm talking to the receptionist, and I find myself bragging about my wife, about just in general conversation. And, and we were talking about my hearing, and like, yeah, sometimes I can't hear this and that. And they was like, but it's not because I don't want to hear her. I end up telling her how she's the best thing for me, best thing in my life, and the best thing that ever will be in my life. And as I do the data from the real, I always recap the positives, the things that's making me better, and how I'm trying to make us better.
Yeah.
And we have I don't want to give no false thoughts, because we have some hard times. There's times we fuss at each other, but it's how we bounce back and how we adapt to that is the thing. How we learning to listen to each other's complaints and how we adapt to each other's flaws. I'm too nice. Sometimes she's too short tempered, but that's our balance. Right on, dude.
Okay, Doobie.
Shit.
That's an amen from Doobie.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Doobie know his cousin.
Yeah.
Doobie, you extra.
Yeah. I love Doobie. Well, but like I love my wife, I love Doobie, but I love my wife like to the utmost. And who loves my wife just as much as my family. Everybody knows I've been divorced. I didn't realize how much give a shit my family didn't give about my ex-wife. They pretty much didn't like her, and I didn't know that. How bad. But when she came around, they want to speak to her more than they speak to me. This is a true story. My mama said, "Tell your beautiful wife I said hello." What the hell? What about your son? But that's my balance. I can go all day about you, babe.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah.
Shamika,
Don't hate.
do you want to say something before I say something?
What do we gotta say?
And y'all beautiful, and you guys are an example of something forward to that to know that it's possible, right? When you have those thoughts like ain't no good man out there, all that stupid stuff. It's good to see and to watch you guys too. And it's interesting because you said you guys started this 6 months after you guys started dating. So we watched the progress. So that's kind of dope. So that's dope. So I just appreciate you guys and I love you guys.
Thank you, cousin. We can't see you. Your camera's off. So what I want to say.
You can hear me though?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you though. We can hear you though.
What I want to say about my husband. I want to say that he is a true balance for me. And I remember our first date, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if we're going to go on another date. And I said that because he was very, very reserved, right? And I was just like, I don't know if I'm something else. I don't know. You got to talk to me. I'm a talker. And I'm big energy. So we kept hanging out, and I was like, Marcus shows a totally different side to just me. And what I didn't recognize was I would have missed out on getting all of that to myself. I get all of Marcus to myself. Other people get glimpses of him. And you guys get the full Kia. Well, I ain't gonna say the full Kia, but you get a lot of Kia. but he gives you glimpses of him. I get the full Marcus, and it's very different from what other people see. And it's beautiful. It is genuine, and it's fulfilling. I know that I know certain things about my husband that are very different from like where I come from, how I was raised. And we come from very different backgrounds. I came from a single parent home. He had his mom and dad. He was in the country. I was in the hood. So we have very different backgrounds, but he's very understanding and accepting of me in every single version that I show up. No matter what version I show up. Because you know what? On Tuesday, I might show up as her. I might show up as her. And her ain't all that nice. But he's understanding of that, and he's very gentle and caring and forgiving and understanding of that. And he met me at a time where menopause was kicking my ass, and it's still kicking my ass. But he's very understanding. He asks questions. He's nurturing. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, forgiving. Because I didn't realize just how much menopause was going to affect so much of my life. And I didn't want to make excuses and be like, it's just menopause. But it really has impacted my life in a different way. So I appreciate him taking time to understand. This year I got a menopause coach. I got a menopause doctor that's helping me work through that. And he doesn't shy away from that. You know, he's very like, I want to understand. I want to get this. Like anything I can do to help, because I understand like you're in a different phase of your life. And I'm gonna walk this thing with you. So even to my younger people in the room who I love dearly, you know, we have to talk about these things because you don't realize how impactful it can be in your life as a woman and how it impacts the man that's in your life. You know, sometimes we're mean and nasty to the men who love us deeply. Sometimes we're not communicating effectively to the men because of what our bodies are going through emotionally, mentally, and physically. And so I appreciate and honor him for always he slows down. That's the thing with him. He slows down. He takes time to be like, okay, I'm not getting ready to take this personal. I'm gonna listen, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna ask a question here. A question needs to be asked here. And sometimes he doesn't. And when he doesn't, he'll know immediately. We had this happen yesterday, right?
And the day before.
Like it'll happen very, very quickly. And then I'm like, you aren't listening to me. Like, let's just take the time to listen. But what I love about our connection is the pause, is the fact that we will take those pauses. And so me personally, I'm used to coming from like toxic relationships, you know, where people are yelling and screaming. People is me. And so it's like I don't do that. I don't do that here. I don't have to do that here. We don't cuss each other out. We not yelling. And you know, from the people who have known me for a long time, when I started my journey of the healing coach, this is coming from somebody who was toe up. So I'm walking that walk from a person who was very wounded, to who understood through therapy and through reading and through meditation and connection with my source that, Kia, that's too much. I came to that place of understanding that. And so it's remarkable to be able to meet someone, especially after what I went through before I met him. And so I appreciate my husband. I love my husband, and I'm thankful for my husband. Now, what I want to do next is I want to honor somebody else that's in the room in a major way, because a lot of things that we do, um, they show up and they help to bring these things to life for me. And I'm not that creative. I'm another creative. I'm a writer. I'm a speaker, as a poet, and that person is Tanya Neal. A lot of the things that you all see, the ingredients for the recipe for the drink, you know, she laid that out for us. The recipe card that I gave you all that you have, and then I'll be giving you all some other things to leave with. Those are things that she created for us. And then at the end of this podcast, she'll be showing you all how to create your own desserts. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Tanya Neal, because anytime I call her and be like, I want to do this, she get excited. Like, I'd be like, okay, you happy about this? Okay, because I can't do it. So I just wanted to give her flowers, and we're gonna start cutting up some of these veggies and getting this salad ready.
All right, hold on. We do the most important thing. Wash these hands.
Yeah, I washed my hands before we started.
I did.
So, since you guys know what the menu is, most of the food is prepared outside of the fish, because I believe in popping fish off hot. People need to eat hot fish. And then we got Junior a special piece of salmon that that we will be making for him as well. But we want to hear from the audience. If anybody wants to speak, we have a mic for them. If you want to add comments, if you want to talk about your own relationship, if you want to share. We've only been married for a year. There are people in this room that we love dearly that have been married longer than us. If you want to share your wisdom, any insight with us, if you want to share what you witnessed and watching us, whatever you want to share, Marcus has a mic for you all to share. We have a really good mix. We got some singles, we got some couples, and we got some married people, and that's how we wanted this to be.
All right. So while we do that, what you want me to cut?
Cut the green pepper, baby.
Oh, I'm gonna get me a cut.
I got your knife.
What am I cut on?
On here.
Oh,
with me.
You trust me with a knife?
Yeah, I trust you, baby. I trust you, baby. The screen went out.
I see that over there.
You want to go put it back on?
Yeah. Yeah, let me go ahead and
Everything cool? All right, went up. TV.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to get up camera so I don't want to cut nothing for real. You know, it's called a man scam. It's like a man scam out doing work. I ain't gonna put y'all all the man game. No. Something you gotta learn on your own. So, babe,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you realize, you actually gave a glimpse when the camera wasn't working. So like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I better get this shit working. She did. Y'all saw it, right? Wasn't a glimpse.
Pressure creates diamonds. Pressure creates diamonds. That was up there putting out a 14 carat.
But it also goes to show that I know I just get it done, chill out. I don't want to retaliate, because there's certain things I do, like what we talked about last night. A good example was I deflect and I defend and I don't take accountability. What's the word I'm looking for?
Accountability, baby.
Thank you. It's called. Oh, yeah. I didn't want to take accountability off the rip, and that's one of the things. And sometimes me and Don talk about that. I have to learn that. I had to learn that.
So why is that? Why do we have to relearn something that should be?
Because one, in my opinion, I'm gonna say speak for me. My ego. So I'm gonna take the camera with a second. By the way, camera will come. So one of the things I had to learn with my ego because before my wife or after I started dating, you couldn't tell me I wasn't the shit. I was. I'm serious. I thought like, okay, I make some mistakes in my relationships, but for the most part, I'm the shit that I'm like any woman should have me because I check certain boxes. But who's out to say these boxes are good for this woman? Or this box is good all the same boxes are good for every woman. And as I started dating her, I started learning more about myself. As I got married to her, I really started learning more about myself. But marrying her and in relationship with her, I understand the real meaning of grace. I was like, damn, I do that, don't I? She's like, yeah, you do. But she understands. I'm like, I do that too, huh? Yeah, but she understands. It's like I understand she has certain things, but that also speaks to part of my my personal love language. For her, to understand the things that don't make me perfect or make it means something to me. Even the little things like you need this, without her asking, she go gets it. I ain't bought a pack of damn t-shirts in 3 years, but that means something to me. Or I always try to go hard for everything for her, and she's like, "Why? Stop." She helps me understand what the meaning of you give overflow. You ever know how I say about when you ever get cup is full and everybody gets overflow? She understands that she gets to get the overflow. And previously, my previous mindset, I thought she was the cup. No, you're not the cup. I have to be right to make you to make be right for you. Therapy. I thought therapy was good. I think it's mandatory. These are things I really appreciate my wife about because she shows how I could be a better person. And in the long run, that works out for her because me being a better person is a better person for her. I learned to rely on her judgment when I make decisions. I have to. In these, I want if I had a 18-year-old person who would listen, I would tell them these little tidbits. Listen to your partner. Diggs even Diggs he can account for this about listening to your partner when you're making decisions. I was never perfect. I was never close to perfect. But in relationship now, I'm better. I'm far from perfect. But I also realize how far I came because of her. Because of her. So I do appreciate that, babe. Yeah.
I got you, baby.
Yeah. I come with my soapbox. It's about to break.
So what I want to do now is because we have such a mixture crowd is go back to somebody in the audience. We have some single people in the audience, and one of my favorite people is single and younger, but really has a very um, a very good understanding of himself now. Dallas, you want to come up?
Dallas. So you go right there in front of the
Yeah, there's a microphone there.
You see a tape on the floor? You don't see tape on the floor?
Oh, I moved the tape.
Oh, you moved the tape?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I didn't know. I was like, why is the tape on the floor? You got to tell me something. I clean up. Sorry.
Well, come to the camera. You can see yourself.
You gotta put the face. Yeah.
I see you. I see you.
Can you see me? Okay.
Okay, so
Looks right
my,
good.
my specific question to you, Dallas, is to the extent that you want to share, in 2025, what would you say you've learned as it relates to relationships?
The top of mind lesson would be don't listen to nobody else. When you feel like it's a no, it's got to be a no. And I would say related to that, the bar has to remain high. And I'll say for added context, I've been through a couple of relationships over the course of me and Kia and Marcus's relationship. And it's honestly the same thing that happens over and over again. Where I like one thing about the young lady, and then that tends to overcloud some of the other issues that are going on. And so I'll keep trying to do all these justifications and maybe this and maybe that because of this one thing I'm holding on to. And I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is as soon as it's a no, it's a no. And that's it. And that's cool and that's fine. But the mental gymnastics to try to make stuff fit eventually is going to, it'll work for a little bit, but it's not going to work forever.
That's good, Dallas. Thank you for sharing that. That is so good. And the reason why I wanted Dallas to speak on that is because Dallas is in his 20s. And in my 20s, I didn't know. I still didn't know. I was still figuring it out. I was still picking the same types of people. I was still making the same kinds of mistakes. And for him to get that in his 20s is really commendable for him to get that. You know, and we talk a lot about a lot of different things. And so I'm really encouraged by the next part of his journey and what's to come for him. The next person I want to kind of put on the spot, and listen, if you don't want to be put on the spot, I understand. Tell me. I will not be offended. I am not sensitive, okay? The next person I want to put on the spot is Ray. Would you come up and talk about, you've been married, you and Keisha have been married for how long at this point?
He said, get it right.
13 years. Now, that's dope because y'all got married young, right? You got married young. So you want to come up and talk to us about, you know, getting married young and getting through and over things, because a lot of people quit early. A lot of people give up early. So do you want to talk to the audience about, you know, some things that, even though you got married young and everybody has obstacles in their relationship, what are some things that you would share?
Good evening. If you don't, I would say don't get married because you got to know yourself. And if two people are trying to grow and learn themselves at the same time, it's going to create a lot more problems and obstacles. But make sure you know who you are before you try to move forward and take that step, because it's hard trying to learn who you are and who they are, and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. This is what Data from the Real is about, keeping it real, right? We're going to be honest.
So.
Y'all got to clap it up for Ray.
That boy good. That boy good.
Okay, so so I want to call out one of our other big supporters. He always drops wisdom. When he gets an opportunity to come into the live, he's always dropping some wisdom. And if you're willing, if you're open to it, Brother Diggs, would you be willing to come up and share some things about your journey?
Is this thing on? Is it testing? 1, 2. All right. What question you got for him? Which one? Which one?
So, just what do you want to share with us about your journey, and what advice would you share with us through your journey, or just anything that you want to share about your journey?
Well, Marcus kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. When I said just listen. And that's been the biggest thing for me. Because I'll tell you about me now. Me and this woman, 30 years together, 20 years married. We're going on 20 years married. And I will tell anybody on this damn planet, this is my blessing.
Right on.
Every time I see him, that's what he says.
He showed do.
Every time.
If you know my background and you know where I'm from, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm from the streets. I didn't know anything besides it. I didn't know any woman besides what was in the club until I met her. Matter of fact, the way I met her was from a club chick. Told me, hey, call my friend. We talked that day, and I don't think it's been a day we haven't talked since, besides when I was in the Marine. Other than that, this is my all day, every day. My day don't go right unless I talk to her. Period. And sometimes not just me talking, just me listening, and everything in between. I mean, it's inexplainable. How I feel about her. I will go to the ends of the earth, the universe, whatever you call it. I'm there. Even if I'm in my asshole type of mood, which I do, she deals with me, and I appreciate that because I know I can be a fucking handful. But I've been a handful for 30 years, so I must be doing something right on the other. No, but straight up though, just listen, try to understand. If you can't understand, ask questions, comprehend, take yourself out of it. It's not all just about the one person. It's about both of you as a unit. It's both of you coming together. Her 100%, my 100%. I'm leaving at 50-50. She got 100, I got 100. We gonna move at 200.
Yes.
And we're gonna keep moving forward. That's our motto in our house: forward progression. Let's do something, then do something else, and do something else. We don't want to get stuck in the same situation and we get bored with each other. No, what else are you trying to do? Hey, you know what? Let's move to Dubai. See what I'm saying? That's what. Again, no, but that's the vibe that we do. We teach that to our kids. That's just how we live our life.
Hey. Diggs, thank you for sharing that. I mean, everybody has just been so transparent and honest, and I appreciate that because, again, that speaks to what we do here on Data from the Real is, we don't sugarcoat, we not hide. Me and Marcus are not perfect. And we've had plenty of people say, I want to be like y'all. If your ass came behind these walls, sometimes you might not want to be like us. It takes work. And again, this is a very different relationship for me than anything I've had. And this is healthy. This is real healthy. Yeah. But again, it's not perfect. We don't go without flaws. We have our issues. But one thing that we do is we have healthy dialogue. Healthy ass dialogue. I'm not cussing him out. He ain't cussing me out. And I come from relationships where that happened, that existed. I come from relationships where I would throw shit. It would get physical, and I was the physical one. So, and I don't say this with no badge of honor. I'm saying this from truth and from a perspective of I've grown from that because I got a healthy person, because I have someone that is very centered, and when I met him, I was in a space of healing to be able to receive that. Otherwise, you can't get that. Some people are missing out on opportunities because they're still in that pain. They're sitting in that pain. They're victims to their circumstances. And so that's what I was for the 20 years of my dating. I was a victim to my circumstances. I wasn't holding myself accountable. I was making the same types of decisions over and over. I ended up with the same man with a different name. Mm-hmm. So I think at the end of the day, even for just to encourage some of the single people, it's like at this place in life, life has locked in memories for you. Pay attention to the memories because it's going to show you something. When you meet that next person, you're like, I remember this. I remember this. I know where this is going. And so you can make a different decision from that. And if you're in something that is unhealthy, you can from that and make it healthy. But both of you all have to want that. And so I think at any point, we can change the trajectory of our lives at any given time. We have control over that. But a lot of times we want to relinquish our control to another person and then say, but I'm a victim. Nobody did anything to you. Now we got some people in the room that have been married and divorced. I've been married and divorced twice. Marcus was married and divorced. Do we have any divorced people that want to speak about their lessons in the room? Any people that was close to marriage and didn't do it that want to speak?
So yeah, all right. So
Don't make me call your name now.
so one thing about divorce, for one, it can be sometimes it be expensive, but I think most of all, to me, divorce was shameful. I was ashamed to say I'm getting divorced or that I'm divorced. It was a badge of dishonor. That really hurt. Getting going with the divorce hurts. I'm not ashamed to say it hurt. Like damn, I, that was at a point you feel like a failure. All right, so for those who don't know, when I was going through my divorce or the end of my marriage, and she was leaving, and I'm going this way. It was just split. She had a whole nother relationship. I think the nigga had two, but anyway. Um, yeah.
They laughing at your own pain, baby. And my cousin too.
Yeah, but the biggest that hit to my ego was she left and moved in with another woman. Yeah, so so she went to another woman and they pursued a relationship, and that was the upon divorce. Then upon knowing that it's too, you left me for another woman. You left my relationship where I bust my ass and I did my wrong, meaning people fucked the cup up and all of that stuff. It hurt, but my ego made it very embarrassing. I couldn't tell nobody. Oh yeah, when she left me, she went to a woman. What? Because of my ego. But now I sit back and look at the more things I could have did better, the things I could have did right. Not if she left for a woman, if she had left for a man. It's what I could have did as a man to be a better partner, not a better man for the relationship, but a better partner. So when she talk about divorce and when people want to speak upon it, no, because I understand what some people say. It's like it's hurt, but I had to heal from the hurt, and because I mentally took the right steps, and in the universe placed me in a spot where I could be in line with my baby right here, and willing to see and accept, hey, she's it. That helps me say, okay, I'm good. Hey, y'all have a happy relationship. I don't care about that. I care about me and who I'm with. That's my focus now. So when you say divorce, yeah, it can hurt, but it's divorce also don't make you a failure. You failed at the marriage failed, but you're not a failure,
Yeah.
and that's what we got to come to. Because I always grew up saying, I'm never gonna get divorced. No, I'm not a failure. I just failed at this relationship. The relationship failed. Who gives a fuck? I'm succeeding now. When you jump, you bend your knees and you jump up. I bent my knees. I got my prize. And I'm good.
So we are coming to a close. We're almost at an hour. Did anybody else want to share anything? Do you want to share your thoughts about the podcast in the last year if you tuned in? Do you want to share any experiences that you've had as a single person, couple person, married person? Don't be shy. We're sharing. They affirmed the real. Come on, Nico. Who got the mic?
I'm going to piggyback on two things that has been spoken today. I'm been divorced, and I'm in my 50s dating. So two things so I can identify as a divorcee and as a single person in my 50s dating. One, I want to say Ray was correct when it comes to getting married young. It's very hard. I got married in my 20s, so I didn't know who I was. He didn't know who he was. We were still living out our fantasies, and so because we kept growing and learning, it just did not work. I don't feel like a failure. I recognize we were too young to make such a big decision in our lives at that time, but I'm grateful for the son that I have through that marriage. So I commend you too that you were able to overcome those struggles of growing, learning, and still
Right
sticking
on.
together.
Yes.
So I just want to applaud. I want to follow back on being single and learning from those red flags. You know, a lot of times we like who we like. We like somebody texting us in the morning and hearing all those things.
Talk on it.
And we ignore those red flags
Yeah.
because we like what we see physically. We want to hear that voice, that Barry White in the morning. We want to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Show you right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants some thighs next to them at the night. You know what I'm saying? Whether they male or female, everybody like thighs next to them. Okay.
They could have better. Talk on it.
So it is important that I want to applaud you for learning in your 20s that it's important to heed to the red flags, despite that you're liking what you're liking. And I'm still learning that in my 50s. But what I do know is every relationship that might not make it to the ultimate goal is not a loss, it's a lesson. So you have to just turn the L thinking that it's a loss. You really look at it as a lesson. And what did I learn about myself? And sometimes I go back and say, I saw that was a red flag, and I chose to ignore it because I just wanted thighs next to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I chose.
We gonna keep it real.
I chose to ignore the red flags that were blatant in my face because I wanted to be in a relationship. At this point in my life, in my 50s, you need to come to certain standards. You need to have a job. You need to have a car. You need to have your own place. You can't be living in your mama's basement. And you can't allow the want of thighs to make you overlook those things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what you want me to say? You want me to say something else? I'm trying to think of
I was just thinking now.
You don't want to make bitch. No, but seriously, dating in my 50s is so different than it was in my 20s, my 30s, and 40s. And we still have to look for those red flags. And we still have to learn that just because it hasn't happened for me right now doesn't mean it's a loss. It just means it's a lesson. And so I'm trying to turn that L word not into a loss, but let it know it's a lesson.
Yeah.
And that recognize those red flags, even when they're yellow flags. So now I give a person a yellow flag and be like, okay, that's yellow. It just means I'm proceeding with caution.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
is a
It's
penalty.
too young. It's too young.
But I also recognize I'm not perfect too. So my stuff might be a red flag or a yellow flag to somebody else too, because it's like Marcus said, I'm not perfect. The other person's not perfect either. So I might be doing something to that person that's a yellow flag or a red flag. It just means I'm cautious. I'm going to watch their behavior. So I just want to speak on some of the things that I already said and just say, hey, I'm watching the red flags. I'm learning from my past. Being married, being divorced, and dating in my 50s. Whew, it's something different.
That is so good, and thank you for sharing that, Nico. Like,
Right.
we appreciate that. It is one of the things that I know is difficult for a lot of people is that vulnerability. And we had a guest on, well, the fellas a few weeks ago, they had a guest on by the name of Dre. And he really opened up and talked about his divorce, and he held himself accountable for some things, you know. And you can tell when somebody's really healing because they're not blaming and they're not a victim and they did this to me and they did that to me. It's like, okay, this person is healing, this person is accepting some responsibility. And that's what he was doing, is he was talking about, you know, I contributed to some of the things that happened that led to my divorce. And so I use that as a launch pad to heal and grow. And he went through therapy and he talked about that. And so I know we're at our 5:30, but I do want to hear from another single man in the room, sharing something about what they learned in 2025 about being single, where they plan to pivot in 2026 as it relates to their journey being single. Because we have we got three single guys in the room. Anybody else want to add something? I'm gonna call your ass out in a minute. Ask for the mic.
Well,
RG.
Talk to the hoes.
I'm I'm single. Well, single, but I've been divorced twice. So I'm just, and I'm 60. So I'm not thinking about anything. Well, if the right person comes and we vibe, then it's all good. But right now, I'm just living life. And once again, if the right person comes, I'm all good. And she's basically, I'm not even going to say I'm going to get married again, but if once again the right person comes, we can do that. But I'm at, not even at the end of my road, but you know, uh, I have a lot of stuff to give, and I want the person to have a lot of stuff to give as well.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Oh man.
Thank you, RG. So a lot of people in this room, a lot of the people in this room have met each other or saw each other before. RG and I have been friends for a very long time. Very long time. He don't really like coming around people like that, but I appreciate him coming out tonight. But he's been a great friend to me over the years, and I've always said, you know, I have a couple of guy friends who just met the wrong women. You know, that's all. That's because they're great guys, but it just wasn't the right women for them, but they're really, really good guys. And I think people always assume that it's women that get the bad end of the stick. Sometimes it's men too, and we have to acknowledge that and understand that there's a lot of men that go into relationships that are being sincere and being loving and authentic, and sometimes women take advantage of that. But we always say men do this and men do that. I mean, women do this and women do that, but or men do this or men do that. But it happens on both sides. Both sides experience that, but I think it is to our advantage to just pay attention and acknowledge those signs. Sometimes people get through, because they wear a really good mask. People on Halloween, they be like, "Damn, you look like the real Superman," but you find out that ain't the real Superman. And so you have to be very, very careful and intuitive and pay attention to people's actions and behaviors because they're telling you a story. They're telling you what to expect out of that. So I want you to close out, cousin, and share some things from therapy side in terms of some things that we can look to do in 2026 to heal and kind of lean into ourselves a little bit more and have healthier connections with ourselves and other people.
I like how I can't think of her name right now. The one that's mentioned that she's 50 and has been and was married as well,
Nico.
and got a young age, and not knowing who we are, right? Not knowing we get married, and I think about like how that's like that's the thing, right? Get married at a young age, and all these kids are like, I want to have this relationship, and they don't even know who they are, right? Then you get in a relationship with the person, and they don't know who they are, and then you're still growing. And so so I think it's about growth. It's about growth. It's about learning who you are, which is the thing we always talk about. We always talk about that, is learning who you are, identifying what you like, identifying your own, like, without it being like, did somebody tell me this and I started liking it? Did I like this because I was dating somebody and they were this, and I gravitated towards this? Find out who you are. I like how even the gentleman, he's like, I'm 60. He's like, I'm open to it, but I'm okay. I'm still, I got things to give, stuff to give, and if I find a vibe, okay. And I think we want to jump into this relationship because I feel like we've just been taught more about external validation instead of internal validation and interpersonal relationships. And so building that interpersonal relationship with yourself is important. And so getting to know you. That's the same thing we've been doing, talking about throughout our whole day from real, right?
Yeah. What has been your experience as a single woman dating?
Say it in the refrigerator.
Now you know we keeping it real on this thing.
And we got receipts from all.
Yeah, she said she can get D anywhere. That's what she said.
That's because y'all be passing it out. Y'all be sending pictures. Pictures. Y'all just be like, here, look at my dick.
Talk about it, cousin.
Be like, here, look at my penis. No, look at my penis. Honestly, like, you know what? Real talk, I have really learned more about myself than anything else. Because it's not, because even each experience, no matter what the experience was, I have really learned about what I genuinely really like. I realized what I used to do. I realized, like, I was, this guy was talking about sports, and I remember, like, acting like I liked it, like, oh, yeah, right? Not realizing I was doing that thing, whatever that thing is, to be chosen, right? And now I'm like, no, I don't. I'll go to a game though in a minute though. You got some tickets? I'll go to the game because I want.
man.
the games. I might not watch you on TV though, so I don't care about nothing about your favorite sport. I don't care nothing about none of that. And I realized I really love, like, I am really into good conversation. I didn't realize that. Like, I'm just now realizing these last couple of years. I absolutely love good conversation. Like, I want to learn something. Like, you just taught me something new. I love that. So I have learned more about myself than anything else. And the thing is that there's somebody, and I also learned that there's somebody for everybody. I'll be like, there's somebody for everybody. So when people be like, I will never, that's a lie. You will always find somebody for you. It's somebody for everybody. I've watched it, I've witnessed it. It's somebody for everybody. So it's about you validating and valuing you first at the end of the day. Once you love your little quirks, your little things that you used to be like, once you start loving on you and accepting everything about you,
Yep. It's a game changer.
it's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we want to thank everybody for coming out live.
And low key, I'm jealous.
What'd
Okay,
you say,
high key,
cousin?
I'm jealous because everybody was coming in. You're like, hi. And everybody wanted to invite me, and I don't invite myself.
Sorry, cousin. Sorry. We should have flown you out. We should have flown
I
you
want some
out.
flowers.
The flowers come with baby oil attached to it.
If y'all don't know, that's my co-host. That is my sister cousin. I love you so much, cousin. Thank you for showing up for us tonight, as always. Love you. Now, the next piece is Tanya's going to come up and she is going to show you how to create your own magical dessert. So, Tanya, you want to come up? And she's going to show you how to make your own magical.
Wait, what happened? Marcus, what happened? Oh, 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 we're off. Offline? Wait, you guys are still.
Different people do different things, and as long as you're happy and it works for
Now
you,
you able to hear me?
then do that. You know, don't do unhealthy shit,
I'm talking now.
but do
Okay.
what makes you
Good.
happy.
Now we can just get to action. Give me a second. Give that 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You should see my green bar come across while I'm talking.
I do see a green bar.
Okay. We're gonna be good. Now, back to what I was saying.
What did I tell you? Me and Marcus was two.
Strawberries.
I'm
What
from
do
the
you mean
hood.
you do? I got my gloves
But
on.
I'm saying, like, I talk reckless, and he
Take this stick.
would say,
Anybody want to come
"That
join us
hurts."
some gloves? Come
I
on.
don't like that.
Come,
I'm like,
come on,
I had
everybody
to
else. Come on
calm
up.
myself back.
Yeah.
Like,
Come on,
this
Steve.
is a gentle, kind man. You
All
don't
right.
need to be that person with him. You had to be that with
Let
another
me
people,
do the stick.
but you ain't got to be that with him.
Right there in the center.
Mm-hmm. Really?
What if you go to the other end? Just got to pull it back up. I see what I sent for. Go ahead.
So what do you want to do?
Yeah, I like black love. Chocolate.
Yeah. I love that. Now she the one.
Uh-huh. All the way?
Yep. So put the leaves in there.
The leaves in the way.
That's why you're supposed to.
Bree, do you want to make your dessert? I don't want to put you to work and you miss out on that.
When the leaf about to get in there, I'm gonna let
That's why you
Making your dessert.
Well, I tried. Well, the strawberry wasn't acting right.
You sure?
All right.
Because you're the best cousin ever.
Just go smooth.
You're the best cousin
Just
niece
gonna smooth
ever.
out. So now, can I do a white one?
I mean, for me, you always my niece. But, you know.
You gonna show it to you? I can hold the leaves back, damn it. They need to trim these leaves.
No, that's what makes them pretty.
I need to give you these papers to put under them other plates.
So you'll bring the leaves up like that. You try to get as much of the chocolate on there as you can. You use a different thing. Little swirl.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Get some of the excess chocolate.
All right. Yeah, yours look better than mine.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I know.
Let me see what I
So,
try to close
with
it.
that being said, we thank you. We thank
Okay.
everybody now for this Friendsgiving, our first Friendsgiving. It was a little hiccups here and there, but the energy and positivity that what Dar represents was very, I don't know what's prevalent. I don't know. She's the wordsmith. I'm just to speak. It was good in the room. Yeah. Thank you very much. So.
B is good. He'll
All right.
be here
So.
next Saturday.
So I want to say,
and
I want to say, hey, thank you for coming.
Hey, thank you for coming.
I'll see you next season.
See you next season
On Date Affirm the Real.
on Date Affirm the
Left
Real.
the chick he was staying with, moved in with another chick.
So everybody,
That
thank
chick
y'all.
went
This has been a wonderful time. We're about to end this
So he
live.
moved in
So
with,
you
so he
can
had to
get that
move in
free
back
going.
in with the other chick.
You up? So, yeah.